Right, Campbells Comments, New Zealand show, back for another week. Proudly brought to you by Woodlands stud, NZB Standardbreds, and Haras to Trotteurs, and Nigel Armstrong is proudly brought to you by IRT. Welcome, Nigel.
Absolutely, yep. And welcome IRT. We've come aboard and actually I've hit the big time. IRT are looking after me now, so it's cool. I've got a sponsor.
Cam Bray doesn't have his own sponsor, mate. You're going a bit better than him.
Cam who?
That's about right too. I don't mind that way. How have you been? I haven't had you on for a few weeks. I've had a few technical issues with Messenger, so to be able to get in touch with a few people's made it a bit tricky, but I think I'm on top of things. How have you been?
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, all sorts of exciting things are happening, like homing down onto Cup Day, and we've had a foal this morning, so that's probably the most exciting news. I did
actually see that. SAS. Is that what it's called?
SAS. Yep.
I should.
Madam SAS is the mare. So yeah.
So let's encourage people to go and like your Facebook page. What is the Facebook page?
Well, probably the public one's Harness Racing Unhinged.
Yep.
So, and my private one's Westview Racing. So, but they're welcome to join that one as well and get a bit more insight into the syndication stuff we do.
Yeah, and different stuff, and you're pretty good. I saw, there was the photos of the foal and everything nice and healthy, and then you showed a little bit of what goes on to get to that stage once everything was good and healthy. I was glad you didn't put that one up straight away, but there's a lot goes on to getting a good healthy foal on the ground, isn't there?
Absolutely, and I mean we've got a great vet, Sam Taylor and Mitzi Taylor look after it for us. I mean we've got a vet that's also looking after the foaling of our foals, so it takes all the guesswork out of it, I suppose. It's handy having a vet on duty.
Yeah, I encourage people to go and watch that video though. I think it's great, and those sort of things. We've got to keep telling more and more of those stories. I'm actually going to be at Lower Long Farms Wednesday night. I'm going to go live from there with Kath McIntosh and Mark Hughes, and Daniel Hibbert will be joining me. But I was there the other day, but I was there for another person, and there was a lot going on. I'm just hoping this time while I'm there might be a lot more go on as well and be able to capture some of the footage of it. But just amazing, the stuff. I did get to see, I'll tell you, one of the greatest things I saw was an embryo flush, where she flushed the embryo out of a mare, and I got to see it before it got put into the other mare. And just, you're looking at a clear dot, if you know what I mean. Like it's the size of a matchstick. But it was actually brilliant to say, rightio, in 2 years' time I'm going to see a foal on the ground, or a year and a half, I suppose, I'm going to see a foal on the ground, and then I can say, well, I saw you before you were even that. So they're pretty amazing what vets do, aren't they?
Yeah, and they grow so quickly. I think our other mare was served a couple of days ago. I should get my right hat on here. It's served down by the seaside. and the vet, I mean, so it was served the other day, and he was within 2 or 3 days he'll know whether she's in foal or whatever. And I think, how the hell do they know that quick?
Yeah, it's amazing, the technology now, and it's actually, he's a great story, Seaside, or what do they say, hashtag catch the next wave. I love that hashtag. I think it's great. But talking to Mark Hughes earlier today, and he's serving a stack of mares at the minute everywhere, so he's very, very popular, and rightfully so. He is doing a great job. But I didn't know you were going to do that one. I actually don't know where any of this conversation is going to go, which is always a little bit nerve-wracking with you, Nige.
Yeah, well, here's one for you, because we were a bit disappointed when we got a colt this morning, to be fair, because we had the name all worked out. For the mare was Madam Sass, and it was a What the Hill, so it was going to be What the Sass. So we've got a bit of an issue now because it's sort of a colt. So the lucky thing was there was a big truck driving past when he was giving birth, and we think now it could be called What the Truck. But I'm just not sure where they want to get that one past, the naming guys.
There was one today, a horse today, at Kaikoura, and I'm like, it's very cleverly named, but I can't, and I love the syndicate. There it is. Love Lou Long Time.
Yeah.
But I love the syndicate name as well. Go Crazy Racing Syndicate. I reckon it sums them up. But Love Lou Long Time. I was like, man, that's getting dangerous. But good luck to them. So if they can get that through, you're some chance.
Yeah, I'd say every chance. I just can't wait for the commentator to get it wrong.
Yeah, there's a horse over here. Oh, I can't think of it. It'll come to me, and It's so dangerous. It's one slip of a tongue and it's dangerous. They never seem to get it wrong, but there's quite a few of those around, I know, but this one's very dangerous. My wife was like, "What did he just say?" I said, "No." I can't think of it. Races up Wagga at that. It is a good name. So the syndicate is grown by 1, and in a couple of days might have grown by, I suppose, 1.1 once you get the positive result back. How's everything else going in New Zealand first? I know things are going okay over here, but how are things going in New Zealand?
It's a bit disappointing. Like the Cup's going to be it's limited numbers. We've just got to play by the rules that our government sets, which unfortunately aren't that flash for us. There'll be a lot of disappointed North Island trainers if you're a trainer in Auckland like Robert, who's in partnership with Jenna Dunn, or he's not going to be able to come down and help out. And just for an instance, on Saturday I went out and gave them a hand when we worked 48 horses, and then I went out and worked again on Sunday, and we had about another 26 or 27. I mean, not mostly the same ones, but it's a huge undertaking. And Cup days, Cup week is just the busiest time, and not being able to get Robert down and putting those finishing touches on things is pretty disappointing for Robert. I think he said he's been 32 or 33, or it might be longer years in a row where he's been at the Cup, and this year he's just not going to be there. He
can't get there to do it. Over here, they've just announced today. We haven't had crowds, even though we've been racing the whole time and never stopped. And even here in the country, our lockdowns have been very different. We've had a couple of hard lockdowns, but predominantly we've been open for a while here. But there's been no people allowed on the track. They've announced today that as of Saturday night, they will have a participants area, which will be fenced off, and the likes, but it's not starting before Saturday. And I know Mark Hughes, Woodlands, have got a horse going around at Bendigo. I should actually try and get the field up in the Breeders' Crown. And so effectively he won't be allowed to get there for that. But going forward, at least we can start getting crowds. The flip side of it is participants aren't allowed to take their children. Their children have still got to stay at home, which is a huge drag on a lot of people, because we're the same as you guys. There's not enough money to make a living out of it. And if people don't have grandparents, I don't know how they're paying babysitters to look after their kids while they're going to the races. So that part's a bit frustrating over here. Yeah, the rules at Addington are changing for Cup Day and Show Day. Like up until now, it's been if you actually have to be a named owner, as in like if you can't be the wife or a partner of somebody, you have to be your name has to be in the ownership. But for Cup Day and Show Day, they're relaxing that a bit. The partners can come, which is good. Yeah. So all the owners are going to be there, which is fantastic. There's a limited amount of sponsors and members, no public, basically. Yeah, at least they're looking after the sponsors. See, we couldn't even have sponsors here. I did notice yesterday at Redwood there was one sponsor out on the track, so whether they just relaxed it a bit, or sometimes people can get around things a little bit cheekily, but it was good to see, because I think as participants we all get frustrated and all the rest, but sponsors, the reason they sponsor the sport is because they love it. They put so much money into it in a different way, the same as what we all do, and that's always one of the challenges, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. And we don't want to scare sponsors away. It is a life. There's lots of factors in harness racing, and sponsorship is it's a big one. It's a big part of it. And as I say, especially someone like Woodlands, guys like that, they put a lot of money back into the game, and that's we need them there. Celebrate their big days. Absolutely. It's Life's a Beach, and she's going around in race 4 at 7:30, so about 9:33 your time on Friday night. She's drawn 2, but there's a couple of fillies that don't go too bad in the race, namely Ladies in Red. It's a fair enough filly, but it is drawn a little bit tricky. So but anyway, that's the strength of these races. So she'll be in it for a fair while. They're all hotting up over here now. There's a few Kiwi horses over here, but not a lot, not as many as normal, that's for sure. No, I think when they were having the heats here, I think they've done away with those. I think there was probably more interest in New Zealand then, but it's sort of dropped off a bit now. You've got to really go there and be really competitive. You used to be able to run on a heat here, get a bit of prize money, was enough to pay for your way to get over to Australia and run on the Breeders' Crown, but now those are done, so it's sort of, you've got to take the gamble and come over, and I think you'll only see the good ones come now. So the flip side of that for us was that we we had to qualify, so especially here in Victoria, we'd have to go around sometimes in 13 horse fields, and we were watching over there 1 and 2 horse fields, and more or less, well, if you don't go, we'll go, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, so there was always that double side. The flip side of it is now, I think the races are robbed a little bit of that intrigue. And I think John Dunn did it a few years ago. He had one that went around in a 2 horse field. I think it ran second, brought it out here, and everyone said, "Oh, that only ran second in its heat," and I'm sure it made the final. I think it might have scared a few in one of the semi-finals. I could be a little bit wrong on that. It was a while ago. Well, it has been, because it's been a while since the Kiwis have come out for the Breeders' Crown, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a bit of a disappointment, because it's always good to send some horses over there and get the betting up both sides of the Tasman. Then I think you'll get a lot more betting from us Kiwis when there's a Kiwi horse in the race somewhere. It doesn't have to win it, but if there's one in there, people seem to bet into them. It's
a simplistic approach, isn't it? It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
No, that's
yeah. That sort of amazes me with the calendar. We've come out with a new racing calendar, and I don't know how much we've consulted with the Australians, but man, we need to work together, not separate. But that's another subject.
I think the problem is everyone's got to work together. Even over here we have to-ing and froing and things along those lines, and I get very frustrated with it. So I could imagine a lot of them would turn around and say, well, that's just the bloody Kiwis, leave them alone. Because they're still too busy fighting over here, each state to state, trying to get things right. And I reckon off the back of Queensland, and I mean, you were there to see how great a success it was last year, I reckon there'll be a couple of other states that'll be probably saying, oh, that's a nice time for us. And I know New Zealand will put their slot race in at that same time as well. But no offence, it's pretty smart time to do it, because it clearly showed last year there was this huge glut for good races for quality horses.
Absolutely, I thought it was perfect timing. I mean, the shame about it is that we can't sneak over there now. We had Spellbound running in the weekend, and I've sat here and watched it at home on the telly. It's just, geez, I would have loved to have been there. Lucky we had you there, though. Yeah,
unfortunately, I was at Cranbourne Greyhounds, and I didn't even get to see it. But and don't worry, don't rush to Cranbourne Greyhounds either. That's okay. They won't watch it. If they do, who cares? They'll all agree. The only ones watching it they'll actually agree anyway. So,
they used to sponsor those guys.
Hey,
they used to be one of your sponsors after that last statement.
Nah, they're fine. Don't worry about that. They'll be fine. There was some talk that Nathan Purdon was actually going to go to the Cranbourne Training Centre actually to train there, but he didn't in the end. But they were trying to get him there. It's a good. I'll tell you the harness side of things, the training centre, and that they do a great job. And there's a young man I'll talk about in a sec over here that Dylan. I forgot his first name, but it's just left me for the minute. I'll get it. I'll cheat. But he won the first race yesterday with Anthony Butt on Redwood Day. So and he gets a lot of really good pushing there from the Cranbourne Harness Racing Club. What they do for him, they do a great job. Before I get over to the Redwood Carnival, you guys had a huge meeting today at Kaikoura. Huge in two senses. A lot of nice horses going around. 15 races, amazing figures of runners.
Yeah, like I mean, it's usually it has been in the last few years a Sunday Monday meeting. With the COVID thing, they just weren't able to have it at Kaikoura, which is unfortunate because it's probably one of the most scenic racetracks in the whole world.
That's the one. That's the one by the beach.
Yeah. Yep. So you can look over the back straight into the sea there. But having it at Addington, I think it actually probably showed that Kaikoura is great track, great viewing track in that, but when they decided to have it at Addington, they had 270 nominations, I think, so it's just stepped up that next level. People just want to race at, I don't know, just talking to the trainers in general, at the best, fairest track they can, and that's Addington, New Zealand.
So what does that mean for Kaikoura going forward?
Oh, Kaikoura will be at Kaikoura again, there's no doubt. I mean, it's like all those clubs, they were run by volunteers, and you can't take that away from places like that. And it is a destination, and they do so well that people camp in the middle of the track, and it's one of those things you've got to experience. If you come to New Zealand, you've got to come a week earlier and go to Kaikoura just for the atmosphere and things like that.
I know
it's unique.
Grant and Karen went there the year Arden Rooney won the New Zealand Cup. I think he got beat when he went there, but Grant was just he keeps waxing on about it all the time. My brother, he just reckons it's just you have to go there. Like you said, it's a place you've got to go. Not necessarily because you'll go there and you'll go wow, but he said you'll just go there and you'll go wow. Like it's just it's fun.
Yeah, it's not overly banked, and it's quite flat, and it's quite tricky. So I think but that's what we want. We need diversity in tracks. That's why people go to grass tracks for something different, and it doesn't suit every horse. But that's part of the attraction. I think it's you don't want the same every week.
Yeah, no, it was good. What were some of the highlights from the meeting today? I saw one thing that intrigued me before you go into your highlights. Mark Purden, they put two 2-year-olds around against the older horses and got the chockies with both of them.
Yeah, it's hardly fair, really, is it? But to be fair, they're calling them 2-year-olds, and last year they'd be called 3-year-olds. And you've put a good, a young horse up against an old maiden. I think I think the younger horse is going to have the slight advantage. And Mark and Natalie do such a great job. I think they could probably race a cardboard box and beat you with it.
Yeah,
they're that good.
Yeah, they only won the 2, I think, for the day, maybe 3. But yeah, but I suppose they don't have the same numbers. The Duns, they won the second race with Dance Till Dawn. Are we only in that one?
No, yeah, but Dance Till Dawn. I actually drove it in work about a week ago. So the Golden Hands, they call me out there at the beach now. Golden
Hands. It's out of a horse called Shimmer Shoes. You could have at least said, the shoes or something along those lines. So. But they had an okay enough day. I noticed in the trot, unfortunately they got beat in the trot. I haven't seen the replay yet. Was the other horse just a bit better on the day?
Muscle Mountain it's a colossus of a horse, and it is really, really good. Sunday Sun again had to give her a 10-metre head start. It's off a handicap. So come the Dominion and things are wound down. The jury's out. Muscle Mountain's now gone into favouritism, and probably deservedly so. It's been huge the last 2 starts, but I don't know. There's nothing complete until the race is over, is it? Sunday Sun is such a dead set champion. It's a bit older now, and the young bucks coming up, but it takes an awfully good horse to knock it off.
The other little horse, like I'm sponsored by Haras the Trotteurs and Mataderos, I don't think he's still owned by them. No, Jamie McKinnon's the owner. So, but he's doing a good job. He must be a bit stiff running up against these guys all the time.
Yeah, but as you say, he's been doing a great job. He's turned another since he's come back from convict land. He's just I think he had feet issues. That's why he's at the beach now with the Duns. It's just, for a start, he was just beating everything on the grass. Just couldn't go wrong. And now he's developing into working on the grit, which he's just got better and better on that. So it is fantastic. Yeah,
no, he's a good story. Other highlights?
Classic Brigade. That's 3 years in a row it's won the Kaikoura Cup, which is that's unbelievable. So it's the first horse to do that, to win its 3rd time in a row. I think it's now 8. In the old language it would have been 9. So it's just one of those horses. Its manners are just fantastic. I think it's coming a wee bit shorter for the New Zealand Cup because you're guaranteed it's going to go away at the start, and that's going to put you in the first half of the field every time.
Did you drive it during the week?
No, they won't let me near that one.
South Coast Arden, a good mate of ours. Have you got that other hat sitting there? He still hasn't sent me one of those. He hasn't sent me one of those other hats. Johnny Stiven, was he good again?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, again, he didn't go away perfectly at the start. So again, when it comes to the Cup, I don't think there's many horses in there that could give a head start and still win the Cup. I think Southland Arden probably is one of those. It's probably one of the few that could. Nothing's going to give you too much of a head start, but to do what it can do, it's an outstanding sort of horse. It's just got to get those manners right, and that's what the Cup's about. 2 miles, and they'll break 4 minutes. So it's under 2 minute mile race for 2 miles. It's a cracking good race.
What do you Kiwis do over there? Like it's Melbourne Cup tomorrow, obviously, because it's a week before, so it's a public holiday for Melburnians here. Do you guys is it a public holiday over there?
No. So Tuesday's a working day, but I mean, if you live in Canterbury, it's part of Cup week, and you find that half the Cantabrians take that week off.
They just take
Friday's our public holiday. Yeah, like I'm actually sort of a bit stoked. My business partner's retired, so down on numbers at my shop, so I'm actually just going to close my shop at 11 and go to the races.
Here I am thinking you're going to take one for the team, and you're gonna miss the races. But no, your priorities
No
right.
answer that.
Ring everyone and tell them to get their paint before 10, so you're out of there in time. So
Exactly. Oh, there was an Arden horse that won today. An Arden, I'm not sure what the name it was.
yeah, I did see that. I thought, oh, Johnny will be happy there. But he's got that. I'll try and find it while you're going through there. I reckon I got. There's too many races. Gene Feast owned both those 2-year-olds that have won today too, which is a daunting sign. That it definitely was only. Oh no, there was 16 races. I owe you an apology. Yeah, True Fantasy. So she goes in that because of her ratings. That's why she'll go against those horses, because she's won what $100 and something thousand in stakes, hasn't she? I thought I looked before, so she's able to get back into those sort of races.
Yeah, you'll find a lot of the good 2-year-olds that are now, well, they're 3-year-olds, but then they're still 2-year-olds will pop back into those grade races and just clean up, and they do. It's just going Gene Feast. I mean, what a genius she is. I don't know, how does she pick these horses at the sales?
I think she she just lets Mark go. Actually, I can put one of my hats on. She bought. Yeah, well, we can both play this game because she actually purchased the top yearling colt at the nutrient sale as well, who is over there. So yeah, I want to try and catch up with him as well and just see how he's going out of a New Zealand horse. I'm pretty sure she went through this sale, our Golden Goddess, who Mark and that raced themselves over there as well. Yep. So yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how he's going. But I think he sold for, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's 185,000. So yeah, which was really good money over here for a Son of Better's Delight out of Art Major mare and our Golden Goddess. So yeah, so it was a big. Any other news out of today?
No, it was just one of those big long days. I haven't had a look at seeing what the betting figures are like. I mean, that's the most important thing. But I think it was just one of those big long days. It just kept on going and going. And as I say, the Duns had 27 horses in, so it's a huge undertaking to, just to get the horses to the races, let alone. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of staff, but they've got a lot of family, and that's how they work.
Sounds of Cash, owned by Yabby Dam Farms as well. They won with that, so yeah, but it's still owned by Yabby Dam Farms as well, I noticed. So yeah, that's an interesting one in itself. Yeah,
there's probably a story behind that. I'd love to tell you what it is, but I've got no idea. But it is fantastic. Guys are sending horses over.
I'll try and find out. Grant Payne trained Arden's Delight, Better's Delight out of Rock and Roll Arden, bred by John Stiven. So that's the winner for Johnny. So, and I am going to get some stuff done. I keep telling him I will, but I get a little bit snowed under and then things go a bit pear-shaped. But we'll be getting some stustuff done with the breeders down there in Southern Bred leading up, because it is now starting to get to that time. What's about 2.5 months, 3 months probably, and there'll be all systems go with yearling sales. So yeah, it's going to be very, very key.
Yeah, they've booked me in for the tour, so I'm not sure. This could be another day where the paint shop could be shut. I've booked my airfares. Well, they've booked my airfares for me, so not sure how that's going to work.
I'm hoping to be able to get over there in February. I don't like my chances, though. It's ridiculous. Did you watch any of the trots yesterday from Maryborough?
No, I didn't. Well, did I tell a lie? I watched Anthony Butt. Did he ever win on a trotter that went some sensational time or something?
Yeah, that was the Derby. Yeah. So he actually won the Derby. Dylan Stratford was a young man. He used to work for Anthony and Tim when he was in New Zealand as well. So he's a young man. He had a first starter, second start, Meadow Valley Road. Big raw thing, but went good. Yeah, it was a nice run for him, I must say. But the Kiwis actually had half a day out, because Trevor Casey bred one, a horse called Tripod. Brett Lilly bought for Aussie Mifsud. Went very good, very, very professional little horse, which was a good run. Haras to Trotteurs, they started 2 French bred horses. One's already had a few starts over here, Hopeful Beauty, but the other horse was a horse called Interview that won. So we got FRA next to their names as well now, in their bloodlines. You got to go and watch. He is a rocket, this horse. Plymouth Chubb's his name. Peter Manning trained, won the Redwood. He is just a beautiful horse by Majestic Son out of Pocket Fantasy, who was an in the pocket mare. It's just a great family that keep leading winner after winner in New Zealand or in Australia, and they do a great job. But he's only been beaten once, this horse, and I did an interview with Grant a couple of weeks ago, my brother, and I didn't know they were involved in a car accident getting to Melton. So when they were on their way to Melton, they were actually involved in a car accident where a truck actually rolled over. And they were fine, and the horse got vetted, but he just misbehaved that night. And yeah, it's one of those things that's a little bit lost, is the fact that this horse, the only time he's been beaten in a race has actually been when they had an accident getting to Melton. And it was his first start, like a 2-year-old trotter having his first start. They had to hit the skids. You know, he was fine. There was no problems there. He won a week later, but yeah, that's the only time he's got beat. But he is a lovely, lovely story. But a couple of the others, I'm just trying to find. Oh yeah, Kai Valley Hotspur, Brecon Farms. Have you got one of those hats?
Jeez.
Have you got a Brecon Farms hat?
Jeez, I'm not really sure whether I have. Brecon Farms. I bought a Brecon Farms horse this year. You'd think they'd give me. I've got the Brecon Farms honey here somewhere.
Have I told you the story about getting this hat?
Yeah, I think you did. You stole it off Cam.
No, I didn't steal it. He said, I'm going to give you a hat. But he went home and got one of the second-hand ones. Okay. He went home and got one of the. He went home and got one of the second-hand ones, and they told him off. So yeah, I actually got a brand new one. Oh, and Queen Alita, she won the Aldebaran Park gold bracelet. You've got it, haven't you? Have a look at you go. Ken will be loving this. I'll have to take a photo and send it to him. He'll love this. And what's that one? Honey.
That is the Brecken's honey. Have you not got Brecken's honey?
No, not yet. Oh, you probably can't send it to me. It'll be one of those.
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't anyway because it's too good.
No, put the honey back up. I've got to get the hats on. I'm going to send this photo through to him. I'm doing this while we're recording this. Don't you worry about that. I've got everything sorted. It's all done. Yeah, so Ketty will be happy. But no, Queen Alita, she just keeps going from strength to strength over here with Brent Lilly, another ex-Kiwi. So he's doing a great job as well. And that's about.
Yeah, we love the Breckens over here.
I'm sure you do. You love anyone that looks after you. But that was about
Absolutely.
It. I've got an interview with Anthony Butt, a bit of a summary and all the rest. He talks about winning a race on Saturday night. Are we allowed to talk about him about that race or not?
Well, yeah, we were sort of hard done by there, to be fair. I think we were cheated out of it again by the Australians. Look, you get a horse, you draw one the second row and you think, oh, that's not a great draw. But for Spellbound, it probably is a good draw because she's a sit sprint horse, and I don't think she'd go 2,700, but she obviously did. And jumping behind a train, I don't know who drove the horse, the Pantheus or something, and he's talking in the media saying that Harry's going to probably hand up to Anthony. And I thought, well, there's a dead set plan there. You can't trust an Australian. Surely that means he's actually going to lead up and keep it parked. But no, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. That goes against everything that we've ever come to believe about Australians. We know you're dead set liars, but this guy was telling the truth. It's hardly fair. He
doesn't drive too bad, that bloke, either, just quietly.
Yeah, and it sort of done us out of winning the bonus too. It sort of it came down to I think the Panthers about 3 or 4 horses that were in line for the Triple Crown or whatever it was, the $10,000 bonus, and we were sadly robbed out of that. We only got second.
Mm. It's actually good. It's great that they have those Triple Crown races and the likes. It's just a pity, like Amazing Dream. I'm sure you're happy, but Amazing Dream is actually going to looks like going to America just after Christmas by the looks. So it's sad that we're going to lose another quality mare like that to the US.
We'd have been even more happy if she'd have left last year.
Why don't you hold back a bit?
I even offered to put some money to our syndicate, our Westview witches. They're thinking we offered them some airfare money to take it from New Zealand straight to America, but no, they had to follow us to Australia. And not only that, they've gone to our trainer. What's that about?
I got to catch up with Nathan at some stage, but yeah, a bit of fun. All right, what else is happening in New Zealand before I throw to my interview with Anthony Butt? You got any more for me? I just had that. I'm back. Don't worry. We just had a low battery. It's all good.
Yeah, well, tell Anthony we're pretty good. We're pretty happy that he's left town as well, because we've got John Dunn seems to win a few more races now that he's not around. There's no one that upset about Anthony leaving, because he's one of those drivers. He's a big race driver or something. I don't know. He just seems to pop up and win Group 1s. I don't know how many he's won, but far too many, I think. So it's good that he's in Australia.
He has an amazing record here in Australia, and I know the Victoria Cup is one of them. I think it's either the only Group 1 he hasn't won in Australia or one of two. There there may be one other race that he hasn't won in Australia, which is phenomenal considering the record he had in New Zealand. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just an amazing stat that, yeah. So every Group 1 other than that, and I suppose that might be a bit. Every major he might have won, every Grand Circuit major might be a better way of putting it, because I don't think he would have won every size stakes race and that we have over here. But they're ticky-touch Group 1 races anyway. Cam Bray will be very happy we say that, because I agree with Cam on that one. I think there's too many Group 1s and they're given out too softly.
Well, you say that we just got second in one. I would be careful here. I think there's not enough because we haven't won one yet.
No, but yours is a Ridgy Didge one. A lot of these sales graduates ones and things like that, they should be sales graduates winners, not Group 1 winners, because they go through the sales. So, mate, I got one of the sponsors' products on my head. They probably have the same thing, but I think sometimes we give out Group 1 status a little bit too easy sometimes, I think. So, yeah. The Queen of the Pacific is not one of those ones, because it has been time-honoured over the years. Mate, mine Cullen won it. There's been some terrific mares. I think TaylorMade Lombo, they may have actually initiated it. So there's been some ripping mares win it over the years. So it's always been a great race. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think if it's open entry, so anything you didn't have to go through a sales, or you didn't have to be a particular mare or whatever it is. If it was a truly open race, well, I think I can't see a problem with having it as a Group 1. But if it's a select few that can enter it, well, it should be a listed race, I think. But I don't know how you run things over there.
No, and the other part of that is too that there's a bonus for winning the series. So it makes the races at Ballarat and that a lot more competitive, which I'm sure you're well and truly aware of. Where does she go next, Spellbound?
No idea. I was hoping you'd know, to be fair. You are a part owner. Surely you would know, and you're Australian.
I'll ring Nate. I'm a part owner. I know she's in Victoria, and I haven't even seen a race. I wouldn't even know what colour she was. So I'm going to rock up and go patting some black horse there one day, and he's going to laugh at me. So it'll be fine.
Yeah, so we'll just keep in touch with you. You can be a man on the ground. I'm
going to try and catch up. I want to go and do a stable chat there. Ken Brecken, you got his hat on. He loves those stable chats and just showcase what they have and how they do it. I think it gives a good insight for people stuck in lockdown. So I'll try and catch up with Nathan early next week, and we'll try and do one there anyway and go from there.
Yeah, probably more interesting would probably be talking to Michaela. I mean, Nathan's good, but Michaela's she's our girl in the stable with Nathan's partner. She's fantastic. The stuff she's sending us, the videos and just the communication is great out of that stable. So hats off to those guys.
All right, I'll do that. I'll rock up. Tell Nath when he goes to sit down. Out you go, and Michaela will wax lyrically. It'll be fine. Nige, thank you very much. I'm going to throw to Anthony Butt's interview. Thank you very much for your time, mate. How did you hit him on the golf course?
What did I shot? It was 41. I only played 9 holes because I was a bit late getting there. It's 37 par around there, so 4 over for 9 holes. So that's really, really good for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Form's coming back. Yeah.
Right, mate. I'm going to throw to Anthony Butt. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Yep.
Rightio, now for a wrap of yesterday's Maryborough meeting, Anthony Butt joins me. Ants, welcome, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
You've had a good couple of weeks. You'll just continue to knock up driving winners, and especially the trotting winners, mate. Yeah,
had a really good weekend with Amazing Dream started off Saturday night, and obviously ended the Derby on Sunday. So it was everything I'd hoped for.
It was and would have been. You said about the mare Always Dreaming, she was special.
Yeah, she's a great mare. She's got 10 Group 1s now, and they take the champion to do that, and she probably flies under the radar a little bit, but she, competitive in any race she goes around, doesn't matter on the opposition. So, yeah, just a great mare.
Nathan said there yesterday, didn't say that. He's probably had the highs and the lows with him, but he's just doing a terrific job with all these Kiwis that are coming his way. Because everyone would say, it's easy to train these, horses because they're all good horses. Brings a lot of pressure with the job, though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And and he's getting them off his dad, Mark Purden, who's probably the greatest trainer we've ever seen in the world of harness racing. So, to get them to going, at the same level, it's a hell of an achievement.
Yeah, and there was not too many people want to take horses off mark. There's not too many people take horses off mark, and I suppose maintain their their form, let alone stick to it and get better. It's a terrific job. What is her Achilles heel when she races the mares races, Always Dreaming? Because she's just a very funny horse, but why does she have this little chink in her armour when she seems to be against her own sex?
Yeah, well, she's one of those ones that she's better being the hunter than the hunted sort of thing. Sometimes in those mares races, she's been a dominant favourite and had to be driven accordingly, and just been found wanting a couple of times. Had never gone bad races, but hasn't been able to win. But yeah, and then she goes against the big boys, and she can be driven a little bit quietly, and she can beat them. So, but I think she is getting stronger. She's been forced to lead in a couple of races lately from the draw and that kind of thing. So, she hasn't been too far away. So, even though she's got a great record, I still think she's getting better and better.
Her Victoria Cup run, you would have been pretty proud of her, even though, I know you ended up running fourth, but she did an awesome job against the best of the best. Yeah,
and we drove her to win the race. We knew we had to do what we did to try and beat King of Swing. If we, led and then got it easy, he would have got round easy, very comfortably, and he would have been hard to beat, or he would have won probably. So yeah, that's what we do. We're there to win, not to run second, and it probably undone her a little bit. But she's been racing great all the way through, so we couldn't be happy with her.
No, definitely not. Right, Maryborough yesterday. You started the day off with another Kiwi, and I'm going to get in touch with him as well. Dylan Stratford. Firstly, Meadow Valley Star was a good win. I think it's a win of a horse with a future going forward. I don't know, necessarily how high that he'll get to, but he's a horse that's got so much improvement because he just looks so big and raw.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know much about the horse, and I drove him last week at Melton for the first time for Dylan, and first time I'd laid eyes on him, and I couldn't believe how big he was for a 2-year-old. Dylan said to me before the race, he's very, very green, but he thinks a fair bit of him. So we sort of drove him a bit cautiously probably there, and just wanted to get him round safe. And he all but won, only got beaten in the nose and would have won another stride. So yesterday I had a bit more confidence, and he still had a look around at a few things, and but he got off the gate really good, and he was pretty comfortable in the end.
Yeah, how do you go about driving? Do you try to forget how green they are and just drive them, or is there a trick that you have that maybe some of the younger guys could learn?
Well, you got to be probably cautious with them. You really got to go by feel, how they feel, and some just get out there and trot and they're fine, and others do a few things wrong and that kind of thing. So I think it's important to give them a good experience. The first couple of starts, and that's what we did last week. But yeah, yes, you go by feel. They're often green and having a look at things, and sometimes they can't handle their speed out of the gate, that kind of thing. So you just keep the fingers crossed and hope, and the good ones step up.
Do you? It's going to be a silly question, but do you like going on a horse cold, or do you like to have a feel for them?
Preferably you like to get to know them a little bit, but in saying that, we drive every day, so there's lots of horses we drive we've never seen before, and I've won a lot of big races over the years with him and first driving a horse. So, but yeah, I definitely think it helps to get to know them a bit, and I think it probably shone through with Kai Valley Hotspur yesterday. I'd been doing sort of the hard yards, going to the trolls on a Sunday morning to drive them, just to get to know them, and so things like that. So I think, yeah, some of the better horses, the more you drive them, the more you get to find out about them, their weaknesses and strengths and that kind of thing.
So we'll go to him. You had a couple of other drives, and I'll come back to him. Kai Valley Hotspur. He's had 15 starts, 7 wins, $122,000 in stakes. He won the New South Wales Trotters Derby as well. He's got this awesome record, and yet early on in his career, he's a little bit much maligned. Like he just didn't sort of have it, and then the pennies just dropped with him, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think the horse just got better and better with a bit of time and maturity, a bit of racing, and he's a magnificent looking horse. And I'd never really taken much notice of him until I started driving him, and he's he's obviously beautifully bred, and but yeah, he's a magnificent horse to look at, and he gives you a great feel when you drive him. And yesterday he was just he was just peaked for the day. He just felt enormous in the prelim, and I knew then he was going to go a mighty race.
I interviewed you on Trots Vision the week before when he won his heat, and he was super impressive, but I thought he threw in a couple of long strides, but you're saying that he probably just had a little bit too much left. He had too much speed left around that last turn, and he wanted to use it on you. Yesterday you made sure that no one really had much speed left. You made it a tough staying test yesterday.
Yeah, well, I didn't sort of intend to. I was happy to find the front, and then I just wanted to get him comfortable. He's a horse that he can sit on the bit little bit, so the main thing was getting him to relax and go with him, sort of thing. So I just really let him do what he wanted to do, and he was really comfortable doing it. And he was trotting those 30 quarters, and it felt like to me we were going like 35. He's just in second gear and doing it so easy. So yeah, he's even down the back. I didn't want to step on the gas too much because I knew Chris was behind me, and I didn't want to open things up for him too early. And yeah, he just trotted down the back in 28 in second gear, really.
This is a silly question. How much improvement is there in him? Because for mine, Lils likes to have his trotters in a longer head check when he can. He's still got a very high head check. He's got half hobbles on. The style that he wears, they're a little bit hard to tell whether they're too tight or not. But generally, when horses have half hobbles, there's still that bit of improvement in them as well. Is there a lot of improvement in him?
Yeah, I think so. Well, you can see I think he's improved a lot in the last 6 months, and even the last month since I started driving him, he's come on a leaps and bounds. So, just look at him, and he's beautiful looking horse, and I think he's going to fill out into a magnificent stallion next year. So, the way he felt yesterday and the way he won, I think he's going to end up in the Grand Circuit and be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, you just blew me next question, because I was going to say, how far is he going to go? If he can make Grand Circuit, and you said be a force, he doesn't have to go any further. Is he the sort of horse, like he's by Muswell Hill, is he the sort of horse potentially they could think about travelling overseas? Everyone wants his trotter to go overseas again. Is he something that may be able to do something like that?
Oh, definitely. I think he's got the right owner, the right trainer, and the right driver to travel. we all love a trip, but no, you live in hope. And as I said on the TV, the last couple of days we had that magnificent trip to Sweden with Lowell Creek, and I've been searching for one ever since to get back there. So it's a big ask, but he's got that lot of beautiful blood in him. He's beautifully bred on the mother's side, so that's going to stand him in good stead, and I'm sure he'll develop into a great horse, hopefully.
And Muswell Hill's just doing an enormous job. I think last weekend when I was with Cam Bray, I think we worked out he had 6 feature winners last weekend, just in Australia and New Zealand, and then comes out and wins the Derby again. He's just doing a brilliant job as a sire, and I would imagine that would stand you in good stead, that when you get overseas and they see he's by Muswell Hill, they'll give him a little bit more credit as well.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. We're so lucky nowadays to get access to these sires, like it never happened sort of 20 years ago. So now we've been able to breed the best of the best. So, yeah, Muswell Hill was probably the best trotting sire in the world, and we're fortunate to be able to breed to him, and he's really stamped his mark down here.
It's really cool. I just spoke to Anton Galino just prior to it, having two horses with FRA after their name as well on Redwood Day. I know you enjoy the overseas. It's good to see those overseas bloodlines racing here, isn't it?
Yeah, the world's becoming a small place, isn't it? And the job Pat's done, bringing the blood down from Europe, and a few of the other guys have Duncan and Jim Connolly that imported some horse from America. So yeah, we're a small place in the world, and our trotters we've always been a bit behind the rest of the world, I've thought, and but we're catching up pretty quick.
We mustn't forget this was bred by Brecken Farms, and the Kiwis, they're doing a good job as well with their trotters over there. They've always, that with Lyle Creeks and the likes, but they've always held their own, and they're stepping up to the fore. They're not getting left behind either.
No, that's right. Ken Brecken, he's done a fantastic job, getting the broodmares he's, collected over the last sort of 5 or 10 years. So he's got a magnificent band of broodmares now. So as you said, the high quality stock and well sought after, and the results are showing on the track.
Absolutely. We had Queen Alida. Trevor Casey also bred a nice winner yesterday. I can't find which race it was, but one of those was bred by Trevor. So they're actually going terrific. I'm still trying to find it. Oh, there it is there. Tripod. The one of Julie Mifsuds, that's right, that Aussie drove for Brett Lilly. He's one of Trevor Casey's breeds, so they're coming everywhere, which is really, really, really good. Just quickly onto the Redwood, mate. Ed's Dream. I've got a computer in front of me. I don't know why I have, because I can't even find it there. He only ran 6th, showed a bit of speed. He's got the talent, hasn't he? He showed a bit of speed mid-race and looked like he was going to be right in it. But Plymouth Jubs and those, I suppose their class came out in the end. But he still keeps flying under the radar.
Yeah, I really like this horse. He's when a big race used to be, he just ended up too far back. Got away from the draw on the outside, and time he got across, there was a few poked up inside him. So just ended up a bit further back than we wanted to be. But yeah, even around the bend, I was sort of pretty confident he was going to get some money, but he just wobbled late. But no, with a better run, and he could have been second or third, but that winner, he's just outstanding, and he's a benchmark at the moment.
he is. It'd be great to see Pete Manning take on the world again. He's done it before, and he keeps saying this horse is so much like Night Pistol. He's big, fat, and overweight, and takes everything in his stride. So I think that's the joy of the Trotters. He's by Majestic Sun. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just an old style Australian breed. Well, it's actually a New Zealand breed, but Pocket Fantasy. Just been here for a while, and they just keep delivering good horses after good horses. That whole family. It's the joy of Trotters, isn't it?
Yep, they can come from anywhere, and I always refer back to Lowell Creek. He's pacing bred, and he walked in the gate one day. We were hoping to win 2 or 3 races with him, so you never know. We all live in hope, and as he said, with the Trotters, they can come from anywhere. Even if they got a fair bit of pacing blood in them, and that's what's the beauty of the game. The rich people haven't got all the good horses.
No, they come from anywhere. How long did you pace him for, Lowell Creek? Just out of curiosity, I've never heard that he was a pace. So was he a Trotter when he came to you guys, or?
He was, but he is pacing bred a fair bit. He's by a pacing sire, obviously, in Royden Glen. He was a smooth fella horse. He was a champion himself, but he wasn't much of a sire. And at Lowell Creek actually qualified pacing one week and qualified trotting the next week. I'm just not sure which way round. But the people that had him, they always used to dual gate their horses. And but yeah, we got him. He'd won the race trotting when we got him, and won about second or third start we had with him. He was in a junior drivers race, and he paced away and paced for like the first 600 to 800 metres. And so I took him home the next day and put the hobbles on him and followed him around pacing. I thought, if you want to pace, we'll see if you want to be a pacer. And, but that was the last time I ever did. I was too scared to do it ever again.
Imagine if he had started pacing and he retired, a 10-win pacer or something. You'd be kicking yourself. You wouldn't have gone overseas. No,
well, I'm sure he would have think the bit of pacing fish in New Zealand, because they can go back to a maiden. He might have had $3 million on his card and started in a maiden race pacing. So the idea was brought up, but you couldn't do it to him.
No, that's it. I've never heard that story, Ance. Thank you very much for that, mate. Thank you. You wouldn't believe this, mate. Thank you. I just have to get rid of something then. Thank you very much. But appreciate your time. Are you enjoying? You're back driving a lot more now. You seem to be enjoying it. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, loving it. Yeah. As Dave said, it's really opened up again with the driving. People probably realise you're a lot more available than I was when we had our own team. So, no, the phone's ringing regularly, and getting offered some wonderful opportunities from some great trainers. So, no, it's all going really well. With
the world opening back up, you had to travel to New South Wales for the Inters and things like that. So it's going to be a lot more fun again very shortly.
Yeah, hopefully, Paul. Yep.
Now we've just got to get to France. So I'm coming carrying I'm carrying your bags when we go. You know that, don't you?
Well, I think there's that many people that want to come. We'll have our own plane.
Yeah, but they're not carrying the bags. I'm going to carry your bags. You just got to pay for the ticket. I'll carry your bags. It'll be all fine. Ants, thank you very much, mate.
Good as gold. Anytime, Paul.